The Twilight Registry. Case File 0058. Classification: Precognitive Cartography. Involuntary. Status: Open. Dale Pruett had worked for the Elmore County Surveying Office for 11 years before anyone noticed something wrong with his maps. He was not a remarkable man. 43 years old, divorced. He drove a white pickup with a cracked passenger mirror, and he ate the same sandwich every day. Turkey, Swiss, yellow mustard, at the same folding table by the survey office's east-facing window. He was punctual. His paperwork was clean. His colleagues liked him the way people like furniture. Steadily, without drama. The first amended map arrived on his supervisor's desk on a Tuesday in early March. It was a standard topographic revision for a 6-mile section of county road in the district's northeast quadrant. Pastureland, mostly. 3 working farms, a grain elevator at the state route junction. Dale had added a road. It wasn't on the current survey. It wasn't on any previous survey. It wasn't on the county plat records or the aerial photographs from the previous August. It was a county-maintained gravel road, according to Dale's notation, running northeast from a county highway to a water tower. There was no water tower. His supervisor marked it a drafting error and sent it back. Dale resubmitted the map unchanged 3 days later, with a note, "I believe this notation is accurate." The supervisor drove out that weekend with a camera and a thermos of coffee. The land was empty, exactly as the aerial photographs showed. He confirmed the error, wrote it on the resubmission, and filed it. The second amended map arrived 6 weeks later. Dale had added the road again, and this time he had added a second feature, a gravel access lane, branching off the main route, terminating at a small rectangle labeled maintenance structure. No number assigned. The supervisor drove out again. The pasture was still empty. He placed Dale on a performance review protocol and reassigned him to interior office work, deed plat digitization, nothing requiring field judgment. Dale accepted the reassignment without complaint. He continued bringing his turkey sandwich. He continued sitting at the east-facing window. The third amended map was filed from his interior workstation on a rainy afternoon in May. It was for an entirely different district, one he had no current assignment to. His supervisor opened it, expecting another drafting error. Dale had added 4 roads: the water tower, the maintenance structure, a culvert crossing, a cul-de-sac, and 11 building footprints arranged in a loose residential grid. He had given the settlement a name. He had called it Varden. The supervisor sat with that map for a long time. Then he drove out to the coordinates. He found a freshly graded gravel road, not built, graded. A county road grader had cut a lane through the pasture grass, pressed the earth flat, crowned it slightly for drainage. The road went northeast, exactly as Dale's map described. There was no permit on file. The county road crew had no record of the work. The landowner, a retired farmer named Hubert Kane, said he had heard equipment in the night, but assumed it was a neighboring operation and gone back to sleep. The supervisor called the county engineer. The county engineer called the State Infrastructure Board. The State Infrastructure Board opened an inquiry. Nobody had authorized that road. Dale said he had no explanation. He said he simply drew what he saw. When pressed, What do you mean, what you saw? You were in this building. He said he was sorry. That was the best way he could describe it. He saw the road in his mind, the way you see a thing you already know, not imagined, remembered. The performance review was suspended pending the state inquiry. Dale went back to his east-facing window. He ordered a turkey sandwich. Over the following 8 months, Dale filed 13 more amended maps. Each one was verified. Not immediately, not cleanly. But within weeks of each filing, field teams would drive out and find evidence that the features Dale had drawn were in some stage of improbable construction. Appearing, the water tower materialized first, a standard galvanized rural unit, installed with what appeared to be legitimate contractor equipment. On a Tuesday, no county employee had been scheduled to observe the site. The maintenance structure appeared next. Then, the culvert crossing. Then the access lanes, one by one, pressed into the earth like signatures. The building footprints took longer. By October, 5 of Dale's 11 footprints had concrete slabs poured over them. No permits, no contractor identifications. The concrete matched no standard county or state mixture. A lab in the capital city ran it twice, got the same result both times, and submitted a report that the county engineer quietly filed without distributing. Dale continued drawing. The 16th map added a community well house, a small park with a picnic shelter, and what his notation called an administrative office. Varden wouldn't incorporate it. He labeled roads. He assigned postal-style addresses. He drew in a mailbox cluster at the main entrance. His supervisor stopped sending the maps back. On a cold morning in December, 14 months after the first amended filing, a state infrastructure auditor drove the full length of the new road to count what was there. She found 1 gravel road, 9/10 of a mile, graded and graveled to county standard. 1 water tower, full capacity, connected to no water main the auditor could identify. 1 maintenance structure, locked, with a state-style placard reading Elmore County, District 7, but no corresponding record in the district's asset inventory. 5 concrete slabs, unbuilt. 6 address markers on posts with no houses behind them. 1 picnic table. No people, no vehicles, no explanation. She sat in her car for 20 minutes. Then she drove back to the highway and called the state office. The auditor's report used the phrase, "appears consistent with an organized development effort of unknown origin." It was the most careful language she could find for what she had seen. Dale was brought in for a formal interview the following week. He sat at the conference table with his hands flat on the surface and answered every question the way you answer questions about things you find obvious. He said he didn't know who was building it. He said he didn't know why. He said that when he drew the maps, it felt like transcription, like he was recording something that had already decided to exist and simply hadn't gotten around to announcing it yet. He said he was starting to see more. He said the next map would show 12 additional structures, including what appeared to be a school. The State Infrastructure Board suspended Dale's mapping credentials, pending psychological evaluation. The evaluation was conducted by a contracted assessor who found Dale alert, oriented, non-delusional, and cooperative. The assessor noted in her report that Dale exhibited what she described as a peculiar certainty, not the flat affect of psychosis, but the calm of a man reporting weather. "He knows what he knows," she wrote. "He simply cannot explain how he knows it." Dale filed the 17th map from his home using his personal drafting tools the night before his credentials were formally suspended. It arrived by physical mail. His supervisor opened the envelope at his desk on a Thursday morning and spread the map flat on his blotter. The map showed Varden complete. Every building footprint filled in with architectural symbols, roof lines, window counts, a school, a volunteer fire station, a small commercial strip along the main road, a diner, a hardware store, a medical clinic. Population density indicators Dale had written in his careful surveyor's hand along the margins. His supervisor counted them. He counted them twice. Dale had notated a permanent population of 312. He drove out that afternoon. He brought the auditor's report and a field camera and a full tank of gas. The concrete slabs were still empty. The address markers still marked nothing. The water tower still stood, full, connected to nothing. He photographed every inch of the site. Then he drove back to the highway. He was almost to the state route junction when he passed a white moving truck heading in the direction of Varden. He pulled over. He sat on the shoulder for a long time with the engine running. He did not go back. Investigative note, registry file. Field verification of the Varden site was last conducted on March 3rd of this year by a registry field correspondent who requested anonymity. She described the site as occupied. She counted structures she declined to enumerate. She said the people she observed were friendly and did not appear to recognize that anything unusual had happened. She asked one resident how long the town had been there. The resident said, "Always." Dale Pruett's current whereabouts are unknown. He resigned from the county surveying office in January. His landlord reported him moved out as of the same month. His truck, the white one, cracked passenger mirror, was found on a county highway shoulder near the Varden access road 3 weeks after his resignation. The keys were still in it. In the glove box, investigators found a folded piece of drafting paper. On it, Dale had drawn a map of a town, different coordinates, different name. The map was dated 2 years from now. The registry keeps it on file. We haven't sent anyone to the coordinates yet. We're waiting. Case file TR 222614-0058 remains open. The Twilight Registry does not close what cannot be explained. Sleep well.